Hey guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peter Likes Books. Okay, so today I was thinking about doing a booktube video about something that was about books, but not really about books, more about me. So I thought, you know what, why not talk about your absolute obsession with John Green? Okay, so here's how it started. Years ago, I watched John Green and his brother Hank's videos, Vlog Brothers. Loved them, yada, yada, yada. The same time, I watched Tyler Oakley, love all his videos, and he recommended this book called The Fault in Our Stars. Have you ever heard of it, boys and girls? Anyway, so he was rambling on and on about it, and I was like, oh, I gotta go get this book. If Tyler Oakley loves this book, well then I've gotta go get this book. So I immediately went to Target and I bought The Fault in Our Stars. 6 hours later, I am sitting on my front porch bawling, okay? And I'm reading this book, and it takes place in Indianapolis. I live in Indianapolis, okay? And Augustus goes to North Central High School. North Central High School is literally 3 minutes from me, okay? Hazel Grace and Augustus go to this support group in this church that is literally 5 minutes from me. And I was like, oh my God, like this has got to mean something. And I was like, you know what this means? This means I'm going to be the next great author. I mean, forget John Green, right? But anyway, I was like so excited about it, and I became so obsessed with John Green that like I started like reading all of his books and listening to them all on Audible. I read every one of his books and listened to him on Audible, read interviews, on and on and on about it, and all that kind of stuff. So here's what happened. I became a little bit of a fanboy of John Green, okay? Like, this isn't like a lust thing. I mean, I respect him as an author. I think he's an incredible storyteller. You know, he's gotten so famous now that people are kind of like, oh, John Green, like, I don't really like his books. Seriously, his books are phenomenal, okay? That, Paper Towns movie, not the greatest movie, I'll give it that. But the book was phenomenal. Looking for Alaska, Abundance of Catherines, okay, not my favorite book, but it was a good book. It was a good book. I'm waiting for the next book, which I already have an idea for. That's part of my story. Shut up! I told you. Wait, that's part of my story. I told you. Okay. So anyway, I'm like going around town one day. I was like, oh, I need to go get some stuff at Whole Foods. So I run into Whole Foods and I'm like, I'm like literally on my phone like this. See my phone case? Cute. I'm like, and then all of a sudden I like look up and I'm like, boom, into this person, and I look up and I'm like, holy shit, that's John Green. Like, I mean, he is like 6'5" or something. I don't know. He's not really. But I was like, excuse me. And he just like walked around me, like he didn't even say anything to me, right? So I like went quick and I bought my stuff, and then I like went and sat in my car, and I was like, I wanna see what kind of car John Green drives, right? John Green must live at Whole Foods because he never came out of Whole Foods. I sat there for like an hour. I was like this on the door. Never once saw him come out. Flash forward, my husband and I go to this opening for the Alexander Hotel in Indianapolis. And it's this ritzy kind of deal, you know, whatever, very artsy. And I'm like looking around, and I look down the hall, and I'm like, oh my God, that looks like John Green. And he's like with this woman, and he's got his arm around her, and she's pregnant. And I'm thinking, John Green's wife is pregnant. Is that his wife? That doesn't look like his wife. And so I Google John Green's wife, and I'm like, oh my God, that's John Green's wife. And so then I said, Alex, that's John Green. He goes, my husband, Alex, is so cool. He goes, go up and introduce yourself to him. I'm like, okay. So I'm like, So like I finally, an hour and a half, 5 hours later, work up some nerve to go talk to John Green, and I couldn't find him. He was gone, right? So then, okay, my office is in Broad Ripple, which is this real artsy area of Indianapolis, right? And so I park in this one lot that's like behind all these like, this coffee shop and all this kind of stuff. Anyway. So I'm just like sitting there one day, and I'm like waiting, and I'm talking on the phone, blah, 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 whatever. And I swear, John Green walks out of his hair salon where he must get his hair cut, okay? And he comes out. I mean, it didn't look like he got his hair cut, but I don't know. Maybe just one hair. Bad joke, I know. But anyway, I mean, it didn't look like he got his hair cut. So anyway, John Green walks out, and he like walks right in front of my car. Seriously, he walks in front of my car, and he goes like this. And then keeps on walking, right? And gets in the car right next to me. And all I can think to myself is, that's the car that John Green drives? Like, I mean, I was really surprised. Honestly, I thought he would drive like a Range Rover or like a Prius. Like, I thought it'd be something like real earthy or like a Range Rover. But I don't want to betray his trust because, you know, I mean, now John Green and I are like this. So I don't want to betray, I mean, I've never met him, but, you know, I wouldn't betray his loyalty. So anyway, I'm not going to tell you what he drives. Now, the next thing, I'm sitting sitting in the same spot like 2 weeks later, and over the bridge comes John Green walking with these two reporters, and he's like giving this interview. I mean, I can hear him talking out of the mic. I'm like, oh my God. And so like, I literally Snapchat the whole thing, right? I'm like, oh my God. And it's so blurry, you can't even tell it's John Green. I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So this is like 4 times, right? Then I wrote a book, okay? Young adult book, the before, now, and after that. If you want to know anything about it, message me. Anyway, so I'm like contacting all of these like gay straight alliances in Indianapolis and youth groups through high schools and whatever. And I contact this guy at this high school. And I'm like, oh, this is what the book is, blah, 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 whatever. They say, because one person I got a review that said that my book was The Fault in the Stars for the LGBT community. So anyway, I told him that, and he goes, oh, John Green's a good friend of mine. We spend time together all the time. I said, what? He goes, yeah, I'll introduce you to you. It's no big problem. That was 2 years ago. I'm still waiting for the return email. Anyway, so then that was that. And then John Green would start, I got on his Snapchat, John Green Snaps, I think is what it's called. It's like the most boring Snapchat in the entire world, honestly. But he like snaps his stuff around Indianapolis, and like if he snaps it, it's like a half an hour. I'm like, oh my God, he's right there on the Monon Trail. And I'm like driving around trying to find out where he is. Then I had a friend of mine that told me, I was like, oh my God, I think John Green lives in blah, 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 blah. Because that's what it looks like in his house when he's like looking out, you can kind of tell. Anyway, like, I mean, I am really like not a stalker, you guys, seriously. Like I would never stalk somebody. I have the utmost respect. But I think I know where he lives. And then my friend was like, oh, he lives in my neighborhood. He was like, you didn't know that? I was like, what? Where? And he was like, Peter, settle down. It's such and such house. I was like, oh my God. Okay. So anyway, people ask me all the time, if you got John Green to sit down with you and have a cup of coffee, what the hell would you ask him? Like, what is it that this man is so, and you guys you don't like sports, he loves sports. You don't like politics, he wants to talk about politics all day long. You know, like, what is it that you guys would talk about? Hell, I don't know. First of all, I tell him, I got a book idea for you. Because see, I want to write this book. And the book will be called Side by Side, right? And it literally happens right after Hazel Grace leaves Augustus's funeral. Now, if you haven't read the book, which if you have it by now, you're the only one left, then get to it because I just spoiled the whole damn book for you. But anyway, she leaves and she goes home and she starts looking through her Facebook and photo albums, and what she sees is, like me and John Green, right? That everywhere that she's been, like the last 2 or 3 years, like she's like at a soccer game and like Augustus is like right there in her picture. She didn't even know it. And it's like fate that they ended up, right? Like they're always like at the same places. Like she's at Steak and Shake having dinner with her friends and blah, 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 like 11 o'clock at night. And she's like, ah, like that. And like Augustus is like right here, like looking over her shoulder. Like they never even met before like this support group, right? So it's like this whole idea of fate intervening, and then but they never had that conversation with, fan fiction. If you're a fan fiction writer, take that and spin it, because I think that would be a great idea. And you call it Side by Side, see? That's what I would sell to John Green. If not that, I would say, David Levithan is an incredible writer, and yes, I do think he's kind of sexy, and I loved Will Grayson, one of my all-time favorite books. But you and I, we could do it. We could, you know what? We could get a new Will Grayson. We could write Will Grayson with David Levithan. I mean, I don't care. We could do that. So anyway, I'm hopeful that one of these days I'll run into him, and that I maybe will build up enough confidence to say hi to him. But until then, there is actually, and you can come with me some night if you want to come with me. There is JGA. It's John Green Anonymous. I swear to you, we are the nicest group of people ever. Now, we have a minivan in case we get some spottings on Snapchat. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed my story. I'm really not crazy. I'm sure John Green will never watch this video, but if he does, I admire you and respect you. And David Levithan, who I really would like to meet. But anyway, I respect you, and I think you're the greatest author, and your stories just define a generation. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that. Love you. See you tomorrow. Bye.